want to welcome all y'all to Fan of a Fan, and this is strictly only for the fans.
Welcome to Break Time on West Side, your number one break time podcast, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. The man on the mic is a man who prefers burgers if she doesn't have buns. He is a man whose sickness for the thickness prevents him from skinny dipping. It is none other than your tall, dark, and mildly handsome man, Sir Denver B. The show is Fan of a Fan, the show where I reach out to the people. I bring in somebody that is either a fan, a thought leader, a professional of some sort, and we bring together different discussions and different ideas in topics that are matters, love, sex, and relationships, because that's how we usually do it on this podcast. Now, my person for today is somebody who's been on the podcast before. He was here the last time we did Fan of a Fan. He's a dear friend of mine, although I don't know if I'm at the stage of calling him dear. He is also a homie and also a podcaster. From Life on Levels, I give you none other than Wesley Jeff. Wesley, what's good, man?
It's good, my people. I'm back.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute.
Been a while. Haven't been on this podcast vibe for a minute. Even on mine, I've been missing. But I guess we're here.
Why? Why? What's holding you back?
I think the consistency juice is hard to find. It's like I'm being scammed for gold. But hey, let's hope this sparks some creativity on my end.
Hey man, don't worry. I will send you my bulk of the juice that's still left in the container I bought. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, it should be enough for you as well.
Yeah, it should be. Well, let's get to it.
So, I would want us to get into the main topic, but before we get to that, though, there was this interesting thing that I saw about OnlyFans. Like, about 2 weeks from the time of this episode going live, where apparently they were trying to, or at least they said that they would be removing all explicit content, if not most, from OnlyFans. More particularly the pornography side of it, all right? And the funny thing is, after trying to understand and wrap my head around why they did it, and a bunch of OnlyFans creators actually like having a lot of backlash, and after seeing that story, like, for a bit of while, and after looking at that story for a bit, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Like, do you think OnlyFans can survive without the explicit content?
I don't think so. You see, OnlyFans made a name for themselves using that explicit content. Like, that was the idea of OnlyFans, like, to get more content that is not accessible to other people, but you gotta pay for it. So people figured I could just put on my, myself. I could just show a bit of myself to the people and they can pay for it. And OnlyFans from then blew up because that was the idea of it anyway. It was like Patreon. It was like Patreon, but a bit more personalized, So when it comes to the point that
where people are showing a bit of themselves.
So when it does come to the fact that you want to eliminate,
I don't know, your definition of a bit is hard.
Yeah. I'm trying to be modest because I have seen some OnlyFans pages. Well, and I have seen some OnlyFans.
Oh, really?
Yeah. On review shows. Don't you watch some of these guys who review hot tub girls? I'd never pay for OnlyFans.
Nah, fam.
Never.
Honestly, do I think I'd pay for OnlyFans? I think I might.
You would.
But just for research purposes.
Yeah, right.
That's for research purposes. Like, I'd actually want to pay for OnlyFans just to see what the OnlyFans experience is like and why it is that so many people actually like watch it.
Dude.
And actually subscribe to different people's OnlyFans. Kid you the hell not. Because like there's an entire ecosystem around it.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like there's people who are like, oh, I got an OnlyFans subscription and this is why people stay. So for me, I'd want to go there and find out why I'd want to stay and why it is that a lot of guys would want to stay.
Which makes me kind of wonder, would you getting an OnlyFans prove to you what the experience for everyone else is?
It would give me an idea of why it is that people would want to stay. So like, how with IG, there's like the IG thoughts that you could like to see, there's the reels, there's the fun videos.
Yeah.
On Twitter, it's the banter
Yeah.
and the fact that you'll probably get news probably 2-3 times faster than regular news outlets.
Yeah.
Like, I'd want to get to OnlyFans to like find out why that's a thing.
Okay. Fair
Although,
enough. Fair enough. But to answer your
yeah,
question, I really don't think OnlyFans can survive without the explicit content, because that in the first place is what made them.
but actually, the reason why they were trying to do that is because they were trying to appeal to investors, because I think they needed additional capital. Because OnlyFans crossed, I think, the $1 billion ranking sometime either last year or the year before last year.
Okay.
And they wanted some additional capital from investors.
Mm-hmm.
And because a lot of these investors are looking at reputation and everything, they are like, nah, we can't put our money there. So now they wanted to pull the explicit content off.
Okay.
But luckily, after quite a bit of backlash from a lot of the creators and the fact that Tiger is actually starting his own competing platform,
Yeah.
they've decided that they won't get rid of that content.
Sellouts. Because let me tell you, even to what percentage? Because basically, yeah, there is a story going around that when you pay for an OnlyFans, you are a borderline simp. So
Okay.
people talk shit about simps, but simps really kept the company alive when it didn't have anything going for it. So would you rather
True.
lose these simps who pay money to see girls shake their butts on OnlyFans and show them other things, to invite potential investors that you don't know how much their commitment will be and whatnot? I don't think the math would be right for me.
True. I think they also saw that. And I think that's where things kind of went in the direction of the creators, and they were like, you know what? It's all right. We won't remove the content.
Yeah, keep doing
Because I think they realized that, because they realized the minute they actually pull the plug on that, they're pretty much going to kill the company, even though they'll get the additional funding. Even though they may get the additional funding.
Exactly, may is the word. So you're gambling on something you have with something you might have. So doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
actually, speaking of gambling with something that you may have, we need to move on to our main topic of today.
Yeah.
So apparently there was this story that I saw on Twitter about a week or two ago, and it's a pretty interesting situation for a guy. So I'm gonna just read it out, and then we're gonna spill our thoughts on it, right?
All right, cool.
So this guy talks about how he had been having this thing with this babe, and he had hit, and then shorty gets pregnant, right?
All right.
This guy is like, all right, cool. He goes, he pretty much looks for cash because he doesn't have any on him. He goes, he hustles for the money, and he manages to get a loan from like one or two people of around 15 grand to give her. All right. So this babe gets 15K, and she's told, all right, go to the regular abortion clinic and get an abortion for this child. Like, I am not ready to be a father. I don't think you are ready to be a mother. And to be honest, the only time I want to be called papi is by you, not by you and some little other person with my DNA.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Okay.
So guy thinks that everything is done, okay?
Yeah.
He meets up with shorty like a month later. And this guy, after talking to the babe, realizes that she's still pregnant. Okay. She's actually still pregnant. Like, that's a mad situation.
That's a crazy situation. Let me tell you. Even far from the story, what?
Wait, I'm not done yet.
There's more.
Yes.
Wow.
So this guy asked this babe, yo, I gave you 15 grand and I told you to go and get rid of this. Why is it still here? Like, what did you do with the money? Guess what she says?
What does she say?
She says that she used the money to buy clothes for the baby.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What? How much? For 15K. Let me tell you, do you know how expensive baby clothes are?
Yes. It's part of the reason why pull-out game
is necessary.
Let me
tell you, If you walk around these baby stores, the most you can get with 15 G's is at least maybe 3 sets of clothes and maybe one shawl, one. It's not gonna be much. So when you tell me you use the money I
Wow.
gave you to get rid of the kid to buy clothes, it first of all doesn't make sense. But funny enough, my guy, you would be surprised that this is a common situation. It happens. It happens.
Eh?
It does.
You're telling me that this happens?
Oh yeah, my G, this happens a lot. You hear? Let me tell you, this stems from that conversation of my body, my choice. That's where it starts. That's where the whole argument begins. And
Hold up.
finishes.
Hold up.
Uh-huh.
You're telling me that baby store is being supported by such women?
Oh yeah, man.
You're telling me that if I fail to pull out at any given point, there's a chance that I can actually end up being this guy.
Oh, hell yeah. My G, hell yeah. Especially if you have good genes. That's actually a point of consideration for some babes. You look good, the kid is gonna be cute. If anything else fails, if you don't love the babe, if y'all don't have a relationship, if y'all don't have anything going for y'all, at least your babe is gonna be cute. I was on Instagram, and then I just happened to run into posts of this kind of nature. So there's this guy called Dennis Itumbi. Do you know Dennis Itumbi?
Yes, Mr. Itumbi himself, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Itumbi, for other than what you know him for, apparently has a baby mama somewhere who he's being accused of being a deadbeat too.
Okay.
So people, as usual in Edgar Barre's classroom, as they call it, usually provide receipts. So they go on, they provide receipts here and there. They say Itumbi has not been, they call themselves that, Edgar's class of tea.
Honestly, I just call it a cafeteria, but okay.
I know, they missed a chance. They missed a chance there. I know. So apparently, people started sharing their experiences of having baby daddies, baby mamas, and stuff like that. So I ran into a post of someone saying that you actually, if you're a man, and you're not gonna wear a protection, then you better make sure that when you buy that contraceptive, she takes it while you're there.
Agreed.
You have to parade her, she takes it there. But imagine the awkwardness of having to stand guard for a babe to take a contraceptive you just bought.
It seems paranoid. It seems a bit too much. But considering that we've been put in a position where it's like it has to be normal for us to do such a thing just to secure ourselves is tough, to say the least. And the thing is, it's not like the babe is free from actually faking that. Like, she can literally just slide that pill right under her tongue or like to the side of her mouth and we won't even see the difference. Yeah, and now if she slides it under her tongue, now you have to take the next precaution and say, oh, open your mouth so that I see if you... Imagine soldiering a girl you just slept with like that. Imagine what would be going through her mind, that I just slept with this guy. Not only did he buy the contraceptive, he stood guard while I took it and checked my mouth to make sure I swallowed it. Yeah, you're probably not hitting it again. You're never hitting it again. Not probably. I don't. If I was a girl, you think I'd let you smash again? For what? Well, but let me tell you. Well, for me at this point, like, I'd probably just make sure the next time, if I do get a chance, I'll probably nut in her mouth so that over there, it's either she spits or she swallows. But sorry, that was a hypothetical. It's just a joke. Now you can say your point. Let me tell you, the thing is, from a girl's perspective, I see how callous that can be. You know, being stood guard for as you take a contraceptive is quite callous. But from a dude side as well, I also understand, because it stems from the concept of my body, my choice, right? Yeah. Which basically is, when it comes to the woman's body, it's her choice. So she can make the choice to keep the baby or not to keep the baby, but that choice affects me either way. Yeah. And so how you going to tell me that I can buy contraceptives and just let her choose whether to take them or not, and when she gives birth, I'm supposed to take care of the child I initially was not ready for? Yeah, like, it's not a whether or not you'd want to actually take care of the kid. It's you have to take care of the kid. Like, it's a requirement by law and everything. Yeah. The law makes no distinction whether you wanted to or what your interest was at the time. The law makes a distinction of, or rather makes a position on, the child is here,
It's your responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's quite tough to imagine that babes can actually literally they hold all the cards.
And actually, funny enough, because this is something that actually did make the news, like I think about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, because there's an Instagram quote unquote influencer, which we would like to consider as a thotty, who got pregnant by a certain basketballer in the States, who kind of perpetrated, well, I'm not gonna say this exact same thing, but something roughly close, because this guy, his name is PJ Washington. The Instagram thotty is none other than Brittany Renner. Like, the story did make the news, and guys have been talking about it, especially on YouTube. Like, you'll find a lot of stories on this. And this babe is much older than this guy. I can't remember the exact number, but she's a bunch of years older than him.
Okay.
This guy just recently joined the NBA. This guy got a deal for, I think, 43 million or something. I kid you not, this babe got a kid from this guy, and when they ended things, he's supposedly supposed to be paying her $200,000 every month. All right?
What?
200,000.
Bro.
All cause of a nut. All cause of a nut.
Let's do some quick math. 200,000 times 12. That's what? 2.4 million.
Yep.
2.4 million per year. For what? For how long?
For about 18 years. Yeah, it's 2.4 mil.
18 years.
Yeah. Somewhere around, if I can do my math a little bit well, 2.4 for, actually, let's even call it 20 years. That's around 48 mil.
Jesus.
Actually, it's roughly about 46 mil if it's for around 18 years. Because, oh no, actually it's 43 mil. It's the exact size of his contract, supposedly.
What?
Now, here's the thing. Like, people were like, oh, he better make sure he's always in like tip-top shape. He never gets an injury and he doesn't retire early and everything because of all of this. Because like the minute all of that ends, like his money is going down, but it's not like her demands will come down with them.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing is, a lot of guys, when they were talking about this, said that he kind of brought this onto himself. Because, like, a lot of NBA athletes, a lot of American celebrities have been duped this way. All right?
100%.
Yeah. And the worst part about this one isn't the fact that it's an Instagram model. It's the kind of model that she is. Like, she has even gone on record on the internet to actually talk about how dumb athletes are, and they will always bang without a condom, and if you're a woman and you want to come up real quick, just go and get a baby from an athlete. I kid you the hell not. Like, I even have the video here.
In my experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, you could just fuck an athlete. They're really dumb. I don't like talking about my history with men I'm dating, I guess until now, because most of the guys that I've dealt with are gonna have more money than you. And you're gonna feel a way about it. I know the male ego is fragile, like the ball sack that hangs in between your legs.
You know, the funny thing about this whole situation is,
Yeah.
when you're a man with potential or a vision or a future,
Yeah.
you have a much bigger thing to lose if you get yourself in that situation. Like
Facts.
You heard that they're talking about that this guy should never ever get an injury or get out of shape or have a decline, which is humanly impossible.
Yeah.
I was listening to Abba and Preach the other day, and they were talking about something that really struck a nerve. Sometimes people think that being above average is a necessity. All right? So you end up your whole life chasing highs. Like, you're chasing the high of having so much money. You're chasing the high of having a happy family. That's why people fake it on Instagram. That's why people get into shady deals and stuff like that. Like,
Facts.
In the same way that you cannot sustain a high of being on top always, there's going to be a decline in your career. You're going to get old. You're going to have an injury that changes the course of your career. You're going to have to move teams. You're going to have different expenses. So how is that guy supposed to have a control over things that he can't even see coming?
Exactly. Like,
but
it's
in that breath, he should have seen himself coming, but okay.
Yeah, pun intended, huh?
Yeah.
Now here's a funny thing out of all of this. After kind of looking at the story that I just gave, looking at the PJ Washington and Brittany Renner story, and all the other stories that I see and hear of guys who've been put in such positions, I kind of got to learn one thing. And I don't know, Steve Jobs said something roughly close to this. It's like something that a lot of the people in the NoFap community usually like to stand by, where it's like the minute a man comes, he loses his power. I kid you the hell not. Like it's something that we even know as guys. The minute we nut, we're weaker, we want to sleep. The chances of making us vulnerable is a hell of a lot easier at the time. Like there's guys who pretty much nut in a babe or even outside of a babe, and the babe will ask for money, which he'd have said no to before, and the guy will just give it to her. A lot of the deep dark secrets that have been released after the sex. Like I saw that there's this whole wash thing that was trending as of the time of this recording on Twitter, and when people were busy talking about how some guy had gotten killed, apparently he had been telling his babe that he was planning to sideline his homies that they were doing wash with. And this babe, because she was cheating on him with one of the other guys,
guy in the squad.
Went and told them. Like,
and it all hell broke loose.
Yeah. And that's some mad crazy shit.
Let me tell you, bro, unfortunately, this is so true and so correct. Like, a lot of even the information that is being divulged on Edgar's class relatively comes from women.
Yeah.
And it's not women who you're just hanging out with on business deals and stuff like that. It's women you're messing with intimately.
True.
Let me tell you, right now, I'm all up in the political circles and whatnot.
All right.
And I'm single but working on it, you know? But let me tell you, if there's something I am learning now, is don't trust somebody unless they are your wife.
Facts.
If she don't got no ring on her finger, don't trust her. Let me tell you, think about it like this. I'm in the world of politics, and I cross paths with some of these high-end guys sometimes. So we talk about some stuff that is politics related, and then I come home and talk to a babe, or rather talk in the presence of a babe who is going to divulge that information out there, which might get me in trouble. Like how that guy lost his life. So now I'm thinking, for a guy to sleep with a woman comfortably, imagine all the things that you have to protect yourself from. You have to have, like, for example, you know Muhisa Kitui?
Yeah.
The presidential candidate. You know what happened to him?
Yeah.
So you have to first of all make sure the babe you're messing with does not come into the room with a phone.
True. And I've actually heard that some politicians, whenever they're picking up a certain young girl, they usually have rules for like the sugar babies that they usually have. They usually have this rule where it's like, when I'm picking you up, you better not have any phone with you.
You better not have a phone. Yeah. You're picked up.
Y'all go ahead. You go, you do the business, you're dropped back. And it's simple.
Yeah. And you're paid money. There will never be any trace that you are with this Kamhesh anywhere.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, and girls easily lose their lives over that shit because you don't know who they're working for or who's gonna track them or who's gonna track. Because right now you have to make sure the babe that you're with doesn't have a phone.
Yeah.
After not having a phone, you have to make sure that you have contraceptives on the ready that she's gonna take if you're gonna choose to smash just raw. And you gotta make sure she swallows it, so you're standing guard. And standing guard is not enough because she might put it under her tongue. You have to make sure she swallowed the contraceptive. Like, sex is becoming increasingly risky, especially for a man with even half the potential to become anything in this world.
True.
Yeah, because Brittany Renner took advantage of a youngin who just got his contract just the other day. That's why you see even NBA players, even with their wives, they have to protect their property because, sign prenups and whatnot,
Exactly. Which is why I actually have one very interesting suggestion. Do you think that maybe we should actually start amending the law such that if a man cannot give his signed consent to having the child, then he does not get to pay the child support? Now, in as much as I would love to continue talking about this, Unfortunately, we have come to the end of the episode. So we will have a part 2 for this, and it will be coming up next. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But with that being said, if there are any thoughts, comments, or feedback, feel free to hit us up on the DMs of @Breaktime on Westside on Instagram, on Facebook, and also on my personal Twitter handle, which is @BagakaTheD. And on IG and Facebook, it is @Breaktime on Westside. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you guys on the next break.